In an attempt to save his collapsing campaign, Donald Trump is doing the worst possible thing he could, and that's opening his mouth more. He's doing more press conferences, more speeches, more interviews, and they all backfire, as they always do. Because whenever Donald Trump opens his mouth, either he humiliates himself or he pushes a lie and conspiracy that ultimately backfires on him. And so as we see Donald Trump hold more campaign events, we see this repeating cycle in which he is upset by how his lies backfire. And so he pushes more and more deranged lies. And that is exactly what happened today when he was asked by a reporter a question that he has been fearing for a long time and absolutely lost it because he is so full of anger and grievance. And we are going to get into all of that and how it absolutely humiliated Donald Trump. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It really goes a long way in supporting our channel and this community. Now, before we get into Donald Trump's press conference, I want to debunk an important lie, a terrible lie that's been told by Donald Trump with this clip from Jessica Tarlov.
Relief. Marco Rubio didn't like something, so he said that it was fake. And the reality is, and I mentioned this yesterday on the 5, that every accusation is a confession from the Republicans. You know, the only president who actually did take funds that were supposed to go to disaster relief and move them to dealing with the border, that was Donald Trump.
It was Defense
he
Department
took
money.
He took $155 million out of the FEMA budget to do that. That should have gone to hurricane relief.
A couple of things.
Donald Trump has been lying nonstop in the most disingenuous and dangerous way about the disaster relief aid that President Biden and Vice President Harris have been sending to states affected by Hurricane Helene. And I am so glad Jessica Tarlov called out the truth that it is Donald Trump who has withheld disaster relief aid before, because he doesn't actually care about communities affected by disasters. He just wants to prop himself up and use any situation he can, even when communities and Americans are harmed, to help his political gain. That is all he has ever cared about and all he ever will, because he is a narcissist. That is why he will attack and lie and push conspiracies as much as he can, like he does about our elections and like he did in this clip that we're going to watch and call out.
I don't know anything about what he said. I only can hope that it's going to be free and fair, and I think in this state it will be, and I hope in every state it will be, and I think we're going to do very well, but right now we're focused on this. We're not focused on the election.
The media needs to do a better job, and of course the mainstream media never will, and so that's why we do this show, but they need to do a better job pointing out the ways in which Donald Trump is already sowing doubt about our elections. They usually laugh off this claim that he makes about how if Jesus came down to count our votes, how he'd win California, he'd win New York, he'd win Illinois, but they just laugh it off. They don't point out the fact that Donald Trump is trying to scare and intimidate voters and election workers with his lies and conspiracies. And so we need to call out that these are direct attacks on our democracy, like we have seen in the past from Donald Trump, as he has committed crimes to undermine our democracy and is willing to do so again. So let's call him out now instead of just laughing at it. And another lie that we need to call out from Donald Trump's is, of course, all of the election lies he's pushed, but for some reason it seems like he's doing that himself with what he said right here about the 2020 election in Georgia.
Well, I won it easily in 2016. We actually were very close last time, and right now the recent poll came up, we're up 7. So I think we're pretty far up, and we seem to be going up, and she seems to be going down, so I hope we're going to keep it that way. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
It is interesting how Donald Trump seems to be half-heartedly admitting that he lost the 2020 election in different interviews and speeches, but always then goes back and doubles down on those lies. But imagine being a Trump supporter who completely threw away their life for him and attacked our Capitol on January 6th. Not to say that I feel bad for anyone who went and tried to attack our democracy, but now Trump admitting the truth that he lost, I can't even imagine how those people feel, but they probably will continue to fall in line with the cult, because that is what they always do. They always follow his lies no matter what. And speaking of lies, I brought up earlier how Donald Trump was asked a question that he has been fearing so much and then completely melted down. We saw the incredible jobs report, 250,000 new jobs added to the economy because of that Biden-Harris boom. And when Donald Trump was asked about that, he completely melted down.
President, you talk about the economy a lot out on the campaign trail. It's a very important issue to do with your voters as well. Jobs are up. The stock market hit that all-time high. Do you acknowledge that the economy is improving?
No, it's not. It's inflation has devastated our economy. It's one of the big problems we have. And on jobs, we have the illegals have taken more jobs than anybody else. You have illegals coming in and they're taking the jobs. And when you look at the numbers from that standpoint, it's a shame. We have to get the jobs to the people that have lived here for a long time and they're great citizens of our country. But when you look at the job numbers, they just came out, and then you look at who's getting the jobs, and it's been very unfortunate from that standpoint.
Just absolute, utter BS from Donald Trump. He is upset that our economy is booming. And what a crazy thing to be upset about. He's mad that the economy is doing well. That just shows how narcissistic he is, how self-involved he is, that he doesn't want to see America succeed. And that is exactly why he was called out and shut down by Neil Cavuto, yes, a Fox anchor, in this clip right here.
Right, I don't know what poll he's referring to where he says he is up 7 points. And one other reference I want to refer to when he was talking about more illegals are accounting for these jobs than anyone else. I don't know where he is getting that. In the latest employment report out today, 254,000 jobs were gained. Says nothing about annotations for illegals getting those jobs, nor would it. The fact that
is Neil Cavuto trying to get on Jessica Tarlov's corner, trying to actually speak a little bit of truth on Fox. I know him and Donald Trump have beef, but we saw him talk about the report released in Washington, D.C. about Donald Trump's crimes he committed as a private citizen, as a candidate to overturn our election. And now he's telling the truth about this jobs report. Kudos, Neil Cavuto. We will always applaud someone on Fox for telling the truth because we need more of it. And of course, we're always getting it from Kamala Harris. And we saw more when she called out Donald Trump's attacks on labor in a speech today that I want to check out.
So, brothers and sisters, as we stand here in a house of labor, we will not be fooled. We will not be gaslighted. Donald Trump's track record is a disaster for working people. And he's trying to gaslight people all over our country. But we know the facts, and we know the truth. He is an existential threat to America's labor movement. Just look at his track record to know. He said he was the only one who could bring back America's manufacturing jobs. Michigan knows what I'm about to say. Then America lost nearly 200,000 manufacturing jobs when he was president, including tens of thousands of jobs in Michigan. And those losses started before the pandemic, so we're clear, making Donald Trump one of the biggest losers of manufacturing jobs in American history.
I am sure that that speech is driving Donald Trump crazy in the same way that yesterday's speech with Kamala Harris and Liz Cheney drove Donald Trump absolutely mad. And we know it did because of the Truth Social tirade he has gone on lately. And we saw that in this post right here. Trump wrote on Truth Social, has Liz Cheney, one of the dumber people in politics, ever looked at the horrible statements she's made about lying Kamala Harris? Every view and policy is the exact opposite of what Cheney and her equally ridiculous father, who got us into the never-ending wars in the Middle East, have stated over the years. They're being posted all over the internet, and Cheney looks even dumber than I thought she was. But I still say Kamala is worse. First of all, we see complete projection from Donald Trump there, saying that Liz Cheney and Kamala Harris are the ones who are dumb, when that is clearly only true of you, Donald. And he also doesn't understand in his dumbness that there are people who think that democracy is the most important thing in our country, not serving their own interest. Clearly a concept that Donald Trump cannot grasp. But sure, Liz Cheney and Kamala Harris have policy disagreements, but we do agree that there's nothing more important than democracy. And so does this clip on Fox of a Kamala Harris supporter calling out not just Donald Trump, but Fox for their attacks on our democracy.
I'll start with you because you're a Kamala Harris supporter. Yes. Why are you supporting Kamala Harris?
Because I like the idea that we get to vote every 4 years instead of, oh, if you vote me in, you won't ever have to vote again. Mm-hmm. Okay? Does that make sense to you?
It makes sense to me.
All right.
All right, let's go to you, ma'am.
You want to save America, get your friends, get your family, get everyone you know, and vote. Vote early. Vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote. And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
I absolutely love to see that, and especially on the Fox Propaganda Network. Speaking a little bit of truth, we don't get it often, but when we do, it is so sweet. And we are going to continue to speak that truth on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can leave a like on this video. You can hit that subscribe button. And if you stuck around at the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.